Hi, Zalna here, and welcome back to my video where I talk about how you can influence the legislative and policy-making process. I received a question regarding who governs the country during and after the elections. I think it's a very good question given that Parliament was dissolved in March and our ministers and MPs are out campaigning for our votes. So the question is, who's governing the country now and what happens after the elections? The Constitution sets out how government functions, and in terms of the Constitution, we have a national, provincial and local government. On the 8th of May, we will be voting for a political party to represent us in the national and provincial legislatures and government. The national domain will consist of Parliament, the President and his cabinet. The provincial domain will consist of a legislature, a premier and members of the Executive Council in each of the 9 provinces. So although Parliament was dissolved in March, in terms of Section 49(4) of the Constitution, it remains competent to sit up until the day of the elections. So Parliament can be constituted any time now up until the 8th of May. And in terms of Section 88 of the Constitution, the President's term of office begins on assuming office and ends upon a vacancy occurring or when the person next elected as President assumes office. The President will therefore remain in office until the next President is elected. Similarly, Section 94 of the Constitution, ministers and deputy ministers remain competent to function until the person elected as President by the National Assembly assumes office. So therefore the President and his cabinet will remain in office until the next President assumes office. The same applies to the 9 provincial legislatures, premiers and members of the Executive Council. After the elections, the Chief Justice must determine a date for the first sitting of Parliament. This sitting must take place within 14 days of the date the election results was declared. The Chief Justice will then preside over the election of the Speaker and the President. Thereafter, the Speaker will then elect the Deputy Speaker and members of Parliament. The President will also then elect his deputies, President and ministers. The date for the sitting is provisionally set on the 22nd of May. I think it's important to point out that the Chief Justice only presides over the election of the Speaker and the President, so he will oversee or supervise. He also officiates the oath that members of Parliament, the President and NCOP delegates have to affirm to before they can assume office. The same process will again apply to the Speakers and the Premiers in the 9 provinces. I think lastly, it's important to note that Parliament consists of a National Assembly and a National Council of Provinces. So once the 9 legislatures are constituted, each of them would then appoint 10 delegates to the National Council of Provinces. And this is how the National Parliament and the 9 provincial offices interact with each other on laws and policies. I hope this gives you a better understanding of who governs the country during and after the elections. If you do have any questions, please leave a comment below. Lastly, please like, share and subscribe to my YouTube video.